So we're going to solve this math problem. This is a math problem coming from an SAT reviewer. So before we're going to start this, please, at the end of this video, if you believe you have learned something from this, then please don't forget to subscribe to my channel as a support for this simple um, channel that might be helping you. So all right, so we're going to start with, let's just copy this given first to transfer it. 6 squared of 18 plus 4 squared of 72. All right, so we have a minus sign. And this minus sign, if the next one is the parenthesis, there's what you call distributive property. Distributive property. I mean, you can distribute a number, but since there's no number here, it's just a negative sign. But it just simply means there's one there. It's a negative one, but if it's one, you don't necessarily put the one. But there's actually one in that before the parenthesis. So it's just simply an imaginary one. So we're gonna distribute this negative sign, unless if it's plus, then you don't have to. So distribute the negative sign in both terms. By the way, these are the terms, which is separated by plus. So the terms are separated by plus or minus sign. So both will change sign since they are multiplied by a negative sign. So it will become um, negative square root of 8, and the other one will become negative 10 square root of 32. Okay, so how do we combine radical terms? So the square root is what you call radicals. So you can combine if it's not the same radicals. Like for example, square root of 2, 2 plus square root of 2 plus 3 square root of 4, square root of 5, for example. So you cannot combine these two, so you just leave it like that, since these two are different inside the radicals. But unless that you change this by 2, so you can combine them. 2 plus 3 is 5, but then the inside the radical, just copy it. You don't add it. So just simply copy that one, and then you just simply add the number outside the radical symbol. So that's how you do it. But in this case, there is nothing that's the same. It's in the first one is 18, it's 72, it's 8, and it's 32. So they are totally different. So we cannot do anything about it yet, but we're gonna do something to make it the same. So how do we do it? So first thing to do is, if it's a radical, if it's a square root, you have to find a number where you can take the square root, where you can only take the square root of the perfect squares, like 9 because it's 3 squared, 3 times 3 is 9, or 4 because it's 2 squared, 16 because it's 4 squared, 25 is 5 squared, and so on. So these are the numbers that what you are after, because the 9, 4, 16, and 25, because those are the numbers where you can take the square root. So we need those in these square roots. So how do we get in? How do we get those numbers from 18? So 18 can be separated into two values. So you can separate it into 9 times 2. So you can actually do 6 times 3, but there is no perfect square with 6 times 3. Although we know that it's 18. 6 times 3 is 18. But then there's nothing here to take the square root. 6 and 3 are both not perfect squares. So that's why we choose 9. And then, so we do that because we can take the square root of 9. So square root of 9 is 3. So we can take that out inside here, outside. So 6 times 3. And then the 2 will be retained inside. All right, so here, so just copy the plus sign. So here in the 72, So we can separate it into a perfect square. So what are the perfect square that we can separate this value? So we have 9 times 8. So it can be separated as 9 times 8. So you can take out the 9, which your square root of 9 is 3. So it will be 4 times 3. So it will be multiplied outside, not you don't add it and then retain the 8. So do not add it like 4 plus 3, but it's times when you take it out. So when you take out the square of 9, it becomes 3, since 3 times 3 is 9. And then what else? So we still have we have a square root of 8. So square root of 8, you can factor it as a 4 times 2. So and then copy the minus sign. So why 4 times 2? Because square root of 4 is 2. So we can take out the 2 and then retain the other 2. Well, the next one is it's 32, so we can separate it as 4 times 8. So, but you can actually do 16 times 2 because 16 is a perfect square, but we'll just do it step by step. Let's say you haven't figured out 16 times 2, so just 4 times 8. So we're going to take out the square root of 4, which is 2. So just copy the 10 and then times 2, since this is the square root of 4. Then copy the 8. All right, so now we have 2, 8, and 2 and 8. So we can combine those with 2, but we cannot combine yet the one with 8. So, but still, as long as it cannot be simplified further, then that's totally fine. But this one can be still simplified. So let's solve first the first term. So 6 times 3 is 18. Now how about this? So the 8 can still be separated. So 4 times 3 is 12, by the way. So 8 can be separated as 4 times 2. So we do that because 4 is a perfect square. We can take the square root of 4. So it will become 12 times 2, since the square root of 4 is 2. And then what's left inside is 2. And then the minus 2 square root of 2, we'll just copy it in here. While this becomes 20, but then the 8 can still be separated as 4 times 2, which is the same as the previous one. And then we take out the square root of 4, which is 2 as well. So retain the remaining 2. All right, so and then the first term, we forgot to copy it. And then we combine, we simplify this first, where we copy 12 times 2 is 24. And then copy this, and then the next one is 20 times 2 is 40. And then the next one is just, since they are having the same radicals values inside, they're all square root of 2, so you just need to combine them. So meaning you add or subtract if they are having different signs. So, but for sure you just need to copy the square root of 2. So what's 18 plus 24? So we're going to add this first. 18 plus 24. So 8 plus 4 is 12. And then 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. So that's 42. So it will be 42. And then 42 plus 2, minus 2, sorry, is 40. Then 40 minus 40 is 0. So it's a 0 square root of 2. So 0 square root of 2, or 0 times square root of 2, is 0. So the answer for this problem is 0.